It's not like we don't have sexologists in the country. We do, but it's the inhibition that what is the world going to say when you walk into a sexologist clinic or a urologist and tell that, hey, I have a prostate problem.
Most of the time when men are suggested to get a vasectomy, they say, no, vasectomy is I'm gonna lose my virility, I can't have it. So they push their partner like, why don't you get it?
Does SD cause infertility?
Sexual dysfunction, which is the inability to feel pleasure during intimate or sexual activities, is more prevalent than one thinks. In India, it is reported that 81% of men and 82% of the women have perceived to have sexual dysfunction in one form or the other. The aim of today's episode is to discuss about the support which is in hand. But even before we talk about the support, it's important that we have an acknowledgement, an understanding and an awareness about what sexual dysfunction is and how it can manifest. Welcome to the XnY podcast on intentions, connections and intimacy. Join me, your host Suman Raju, with my wonderful co-host Dr. Bindu and our in-house psychologist Dr. Maya. Maya, what are these numbers even?
I think we kind of are a little lopsided when we think that SD or sexual dysfunction is only for males. But as your numbers say, it's both for males and females and for our friends on the spectrum as well, on the other genders. So it's important to know that this can happen to anybody at any point of time. And the reasons that it could happen could be multifold. For example, we have desire disorder, we have pain disorder, we have orgasmic disorders, and we also have a lot of emotional turmoil that causes to and adds on to SD, right? So, and a lot of times this is not acknowledged as a disorder because we are so used to saying this is a part of life, I'm supposed to feel like this. There needs to be a conversation where people are aware that this is how my body feels, this is how my mood is feeling. I would want to engage, I wouldn't want to engage, and if it goes on for long enough, you pause and ask, why is this happening? The time is we don't give that breather. We are all like, yeah, let's get at it, and you're like just chasing. So that's why the recognition and the acknowledgement that this could be something is quite lower.
But what causes these numbers? Is it physical health or the lifestyle choices that we have or the increasing stress that everybody is facing these days?
Very honestly, I think it's everything that you said, and it's also social factors, financial factors, and research says that people do not want to be intimate when there's stress on the table. But I think we need to go past this idea of always making stress the enemy. Stress is never the enemy. We need stress to function. But when you do not manage your time, that is when it becomes stressful. So even with SD, a lot of them get diagnosed quite later in life. Because in the time when it actually began, there are support systems that are available to, like you said, the solution is there. But if you don't recognize...
Acknowledgement at the end of the day.
And you're not even willing to look at it because you don't focus on your sexual health, right? That's the last one that comes after financial, social, children.
Every
health.
box is ticked, and then now it is time I can enjoy my life or the physical. That is when.
What about coffee? Does coffee cause it?
Coffee, unfortunately, can definitely cause a lot of insomnia and doesn't allow you to sleep into the night. But poor thing is not to be blamed.
It makes you too alert to enjoy it.
That. And then when you're too alert also, you do not indulge in the act of what is happening. So it's just that, alertness that's there because of external substance. But again, to take a little bit on the idea of, it can also be temporary, it can also be medical condition, and it can also be permanent. So there are different parts of it, and that's why that awareness is very important.
On a serious note, what about contraceptive pills?
That's a very, very important question. And I believe that with the current trend, a lot of the women are on contraceptives of different kinds, either for polycystic ovaries or for, birth control to have space between children. Now, they can cause temporary to, it can lead over time when overused, can lead to permanent sexual dysfunctions as well. So its prevalence is there, and not just contraceptives, we also have other medical conditions like diabetes, hypertension, you have schizophrenia, bipolar, depression, anxiety, mood disorders, all of these can also lead to something, because if your neurotransmitters, your dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin and endorphins, which are all the good neurotransmitters and hormones, are not hormoning, then that's when it becomes a problem, and you do not want to indulge in anything. While we are emphasizing this, this is not to say that there's something wrong with you, go get yourself fixed. We are saying allow us to help you to deal with the SD so that you go back to living a holistic life.
Ladies, be aware what you're putting into your system.
I would definitely advocate for this. Remember, you have the right to ask questions.
In gynec OPDs, most of the time when men are suggested to get a vasectomy, they say, no, vasectomy is I'm gonna lose my virility, I can't have it. So they push their partner like, why don't you get it?
You'll be surprised. It's said that the number of vasectomies has fallen down badly in the last 2 decades. And the number of contraceptive usage and hysterectomies has increased multifold. This is the most simplest, effective birth control that is out there, instead of pumping women with a lot of medicine. And trust me, it is not going to reduce your libido. It's not going to make you not man enough, and it is also not going to make you lose your virility. You can still be sexual, you can still be functional, and you're going to go to being, you can go back to being in the office in like 2 days.
If a man gets vasectomy, he can walk back from the clinic on the same day.
Agreed.
But when a woman goes through tubectomy, she has to be hospitalized. There is an endoscopic hole made, and there are higher chances of hernia that can occur later in her life. Men, please take care of your woman, get your vasectomies done, and there is no side effect to it. Trust me on this.
It's important to keep the health of your partner ahead of you.
Yes.
And I think it's also about the balance, right? Try to see why is this working in the grand scheme of things. And you can still have an actual intimacy life despite the vasectomy. That's never going to stop. So again, what we began with is, this is not spoken enough.
Yes.
So a lot of people don't know, because they confuse it for dry spells, they confuse it for lull period, but there are certain testings that is done. So there is a lot of hormone replacement therapy that is available from a medical standpoint, and good amount of psychosexual techniques and therapeutic methods that we could bring in to rebuild the intimacy. But folks, if you do not ask yourself what is happening to me, nobody's going to come ask you, and nobody's ever going to know that there's something wrong as well.
A diagnosis like SD, sexual dysfunction, creates a wreck in any person's emotional well-being as well as identity at the end of the day.
Agreed. And why wouldn't it, right? Because a lot of times when you take away a person's identity, if it is tied only to the virility, like Sir was saying, that's when, how is your virility ever identified that way? But then the society has given us some standards.
I think the whole definition of being a man also
Changed over decades.
Yeah.
It's surprising, a lot of women do not feel woman enough after a tubectomy or a hysterectomy, because they feel like there's something not there, and that gives you identity, because that indicates you're a woman. Because we have our friends on the LGBTQI spectrum where they undergo gender affirmative surgeries, they're dealing with gender dysmorphia, they're getting such life-changing surgeries, and it's about growing into that. And your reproductive organs are not your identity. They're a body organ. They allow you to function to the best of your ability. But sadly, a lot of people come to take help for physical health as well, way later in, timeline.
I know.
Because you don't put yourself first, right? You're always like, my children, my salaries, having good bank accounts, good car, good house, and then what's happening inside? You're not really worried about that, are we? So wake up and ask yourself. You'll be surprised, even excessive white discharge can lead to something that can become a permanent sexual dysfunction. But you don't really think about it.
Attack it even before, it becomes something bigger that you need to be taken to an hospital. Just pause from your daily havoc. See what's happening with you. See how you're feeling post-period, pre-period, even pregnancies.
Yeah.
Just sit back. There's nothing going to happen. You can just pause, step back, take your time, and then feel. If something is wrong, we are always there to have a chat.
And I think it's very important to have a partner support in while dealing with something like in sexual dysfunction.
Why not? Because you cannot speak openly to the wide, bigger world. I think this support system is very, very crucial. You do not have to do something, just be there. You just have to have your physical presence. A lot of times, it's just that makes a person feel a lot better. And when you create this space in your life, and children will happen, jobs will happen, money will come. But if your health isn't there, what's the point of having all that money in your bank account? So have some basic thing that we call as a symptom checklist. So keeping a track of when you feel how kind of allows you to track, oh, so the bleeding was higher this month, it was lesser this month, I got migraine at this point of time, this is how I felt, my urine color was so much, it was dark, it was bleak, whatever it is. If you know your body, and let me tell you, your body always gives symptoms. It is us who ignore it.
Way before even it turns into any disease.
Yeah.
So it is about having that insight, like Dr. Bindu always says, stop looking out, look inside, look with.
Yes. But here, when we talk about support system, Maya, we talk is it more in the format of a heterosexual support system,
Yes.
being there. What kind of support is there for the people on the cisgender, on the spectrum of gender and sexual orientations?
Right, I think that we are quite inclusive at XnY, and we want to ensure that everybody gets support, and that's why our doors are open for anybody who wants to get better at their mental and physical health. So the idea is about 29% of the people are actually denied medical services itself.
How bad, yeah.
That is, I think, appalling a number which we don't need to be doing, because
And we should, like, it feels very bad to even take that number that we are denying some people of the basic necessity of life.
and that's why, folks, a virtual clinic. You do not have to work to a physical clinic where you feel that inhibition and you feel like, is somebody going to judge me, somebody going to see me? And that's why a virtual clinic is an amazing opportunity for you to just sit in the corner of your house wherever you're comfortable and actually take consultations both with our therapists as well as with our...
With no judgment.
Oh yeah, I love this. The fact that we are so open. And by the way, that idea, right, that they are not even denied and given help. You'll be surprised, about 36 people after their gender affirmative surgeries do go through depression, and that can actually lead to a lot of sexual dysfunctions within them. And about 29.3% of them do have anxiety as well. And imagine they cannot go back to having a normal sexual life a lot of times. So they are also equally suffering, and that's exactly why I think this is a very, very important place for us to have these safe conversations.
And I think there's a lot of over-the-counter medications that go.
So it is said about 71.2% of the people indulge in over-the-counter medication. And something
Specifically for SD.
interesting. Many people apparently try a lot of herbal supplements.
That's an all.
And homeopathic as well. It's not about discussing the myth, but it is about what is working at that point of time is where you should really walk towards, right? Yeah. So it is interesting how people do not want to go. It's not like we don't have sexologists in the country. We do, but it's the inhibition that what is the world going to say when you walk into a sexologist clinic or a urologist and tell that, hey, I have a prostate problem. I have something that is not making me have enough, sperm count, or, my egg fertility is not great. So these are some things that we kind of internalize that language. They're not realizing that it is the body and which can be supported, but it is not you. But we kind of merge the both of them and we internalize that. So
You just tend to brush it under the carpet and imagine that it doesn't exist.
And like she was saying, the body image, a lot of them feel like I'm not woman enough, I'm not man enough. So they just distance and isolate themselves from their partner. There is lack of emotional discussion and there's no vulnerability. And then what happens? Then we go into substance use, alcohol, tobacco, chewing, Netflix, eating, oversleeping, all of this. And that, it just prolongs the SD further.
But here I want to make a point, Ki. It is no wrong going to an homeopathic or an Ayurvedic if the medicine works for you.
Absolutely.
But do not jump on doctors. Instead, sit back, talk to a therapist about how you're feeling. there might be very likely chances that the stress you're feeling, that you don't know that you're feeling stress, might be the minor cause of the SD actually. You need not need any supplements in most of the cases. It is not 100% in all of the cases, but before getting into any external substance to be put inside your system, why don't we work inside again?
Yeah, like you mentioned, I mean, people tend to overlook the mental and the emotional component of it, right? I mean, a lot of times, I'm sure if you work on your psychology, the mental aspect of it, most of these diseases can be handled with ease.
Absolutely. And to take away the point from what Dr. Bindu was saying, whatever field of medicine you're trying to get support from, you need a practitioner to support you.
Yeah.
You cannot,
No self-medication.
No. Not helping. I mean, it's good to do home remedies, drinking kada, exercising, eating good food. All of that is fun, fine, amazing. But whichever school of medicine you want to take, support is very important. And while we are talking about all of this, the fact is, the damage is already done. And then you wake up and then you want quick fixes. Yeah. There are no quick fixes in life. There's nothing that comes easy as well. You need to work hard. Your body has known a lot. It has seen a lot. You've withstood the time. But how about we learn to take a little bit more care of it so that it kind of takes care of us in the long run.
Guys, I know time is too short, but we have too many questions, and I know you also want to ask us many questions on this topic. So I have a solution for this. Write to us and we will be very happy to answer you directly, or maybe we can have a Facebook Live later.
Yeah, Abhi na jao chodkar. I mean, I have a lot of questions that I would like to ask. Probably we can try the yay and nay with the psychologist. What do you think, Hema?
You know what, Suman? Psychologists are very bad at answering with one-word answers, or they will never say yes or no for any question.
Come on, Maya is going to be a sport today.
We're going to try.
So we're going to ask you some questions which you can answer either by a yay or a nay or a short answer.
Does alcohol and substance abuse cause SD?
Temporarily, yes. And then long-term usage with comorbid conditions, why not?
How about tight underpants?
It's just going to give you rashes and gashes, but it's not going to give you SD. But it's always recommended that one wears comfortable underpants, mostly in cotton, and ones that are not colored.
So my next question here is, does food help combat SD?
Earlier stages, yes.
And what about riding a bike?
You just have to be sure to not ride over the bumps and to stop when you're required to.
Does SD cause infertility?
Yes, based on where you are in your hormonal cycle and your age as well.
And when do you seek help?
When you realize that your body is trying to tell you that it's time you go see somebody who's going to help you with this. And it's got no gender. Pain has got no gender. Desire has got no gender. So I would say at any point of time when you see that your body is not functioning the usual way, because everybody's normal is different. My normal is absolutely different from yours. So do not compare notes with your family members or friends. Know your body, go get help.
Life leans on happiness, and all we can do as humans is to strive towards it. Sexual dysfunction can happen to anyone at any given point of time. If there's one thing that we have realized after this episode, it's that there is nothing that cannot be overcome if you make the choice, if you make the right choice. Prioritize on health, prioritize on happiness, and if you're in a loving relationship, your partner's support is gonna halve your troubles.
That's a very nice thought, Suman. Thank you for putting it out loud. Let us wrap this episode and come back with a more relevant and interesting topics next time.
I'm going to come with a big board next time, but I'll give you a sneak peek into what we are doing. That's something about what we call as consent. So we are going to talk about it, understand about it, and in the meantime, if you have questions and queries, you know where to reach out. It's all popping up on the screen, so please do reach out to us. And remember, like, share and subscribe. Also, please do your bit, yeah. Go send the link to everybody in your friends, family, and tell people, come join us, because we're doing all of this to take care of you. Thank you, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Bye-bye.
Thank you guys. Bye-bye.